Welcome to Center of Light. Tonight we're going to be delving into an issue that I think is overdue. A new friend that I met in the last couple of weeks doing Center of Light, she asked me, hello Tanya, hello Kelly, she asked me if I could do a presentation on trust. I was like, wow. I don't know how that slipped my mind, but it did. My heart. And so tonight, we're going to be speaking about trust and all its implications and every level, how to look at things. I mean, how we look at trust, what is trust in the human way, what is trust in a divine way, so forth and so on. Welcome to Center of Light. Also, this guy right here, Homecoming Crossing the Bridge to the Soul. If you have not purchased this bestseller, it is in these forums at the top somewhere. Jump seat to Amazon and purchase it. And if you have, please leave me a review. It helps tremendously for people to be recognized as far as their work, so other people can dive into such work and begin to do what they need to do to expand themselves into a beautiful possibility. Homecoming Crossing the Bridge to the Soul, my new bestseller. I did decide today I am now going to do a book that I said I was going to do many years ago. I was watching over a friend's house. They were in England, sitting on the sofa, bored out of my skull, had the TV off. What am I going to do? And I hear, go sit by the fireplace, look into your phone, and start talking. About what? Same as the divine principle. So I got up, sat on the pillow by the fireplace, and got right at it. I begin to, after about 8 presentations, this is when this segment of my teachings all first started. After about 8 presentations, I realized a book was being written. So this book is going to be about me, as we are now, with you, as we are exchanging beautifully. Your comments will be in there. You'll get a credit. It's called Radical Transformation, jumping into the fire. So tonight is Center of Light Agreement, Trust, long overdue. Robert Harrison, my bro, has donated Mayan calendar pendants. They're very heavy, very cool. The weight of it is cool. The whole thing's just really cool. Nice chain. $30 donation to Center of Light. I'll send one to you. My apologies to those who have not been getting their gifts due to the COVID or the Rona, or my mistake. He also donated these astronomical rings, silver or gold. You open it up. It is a gyroscopic kind of thing. Let me show you what this looks like. Before I do that, I don't need it. I can just show it to you on the screen. He also donated some of these other pendants. So the astronomical ring is with the white background. I have gold or silver, and this is with a $25 donation to Center of Light. The other image is a pendant. I'm sure it's just as heavy. An angelic pendant. Has many different angelic names on it. I see Raphael, I see Michael, I see Gabriel, and the like. That is $25 as well. And finally, Big Daddy drum roll. I have one of these left. This is badass. I wear it all the time. I'm not wearing it right now, but this is badass. It's an eagle ring, and it's sizable. This is a number 7, so provided you are not Hulk Hogan, Arnold Schwarzenegger, get to the chopper now. This, I actually molded it to my finger, at least mine that's back there. $35. If you're interested in any of these, Keith, I'm interested in the eagle ring, the angelic pendant, the Mayan calendar pendant, or the astronomical ring, just say so here. Charles Steels is in the house, y'all. That boy likes blowing up balloons. He's a balloon guy. He likes making animal balloons. Kelly Bauman, Robert Harrison, Tanya, Rena, Dana Trotter Upper Hill. Dana is going to be hosting a booth at the Hot Wing Festival. I'm going to be playing that festival as well. Sometimes these festivals last a week. Summer Fusion, Kelly Curtis. Everyone, hello. So tonight we're going to be talking about a subject that's been long overdue. Trust. An agreement. Let me get a few notes. I worked for hours on this today. So tonight, in many different ways, we're going to be speaking about trust, betrayal, loyalty. Remember, or choose to meditate on this. The absolute truth of it all is no one owes you a single solitary thing. Not even trust, not even loyalty. We'll be speaking about gut feelings, awareness, and expectation. This all falls under at least this teaching umbrella of trust. These are different fragments, facets of how trust and trust issues and non-trust happens in our life. Many people don't trust other people. Many people don't trust the process of the universe. Many people don't trust the process of life. Many people do not trust friendship, nor do they trust themselves. Who is the common denominator in all of this mistrust? Stings, doesn't it? It stings purposefully. Non-trust. We're going to get to what I was going to say next later. Everyone, please share this anywhere. The three dots or the ellipsis notify me when Keith goes live. I do this pro bono. Feel free to donate to Center of Light, and I will give you something back in return. Shake hands deal. Most people don't trust relationships of any sort. God, the universal process, the process of their life, nor do they trust themselves. When you are not standing in your power, you will always have mistrust. I'm going to save the biggest bang for later. When you do not stand in your power, you will always have mistrust. People, life circumstance, events, relationship, friends, family. Either way, you're going to lean into something as the excuse to validate what you think you are as being in the position of right. I understand. Somewhere, hello, Lulu. Lulu says, I want the angel pendant. That's all you needed to say. I will contact you. Thank you. Most people don't trust. I get it. When lightning strikes, or the scorpion stings, or the snake bites, it hurts. I know betrayal. I experienced it recently. But do I claim? I'm calling it betrayal. It was betrayal. But do I claim to be a victim? I'm not going to betray myself because I did it before. As to why it showed up again, and I'm calling it betrayal. You see, red flags are everywhere. Who is the common denominator in all this mistrusting? This is going to sting for those who this is relevant to. Sometimes sting is good. Sting wakes us up. Stings make us acutely aware of something. It brings us to the focal point as to why it stings. So God bless you if it stings. I'm happy for you. I'm happy that it stings. Some people want relationship, and I don't mean relationship. I mean relationship with anyone and anything. But in this regard, let's lean a little heavy in relationship. Some people want relationships so bad that they ignore another's red flags. And so when said red flag unfurls and begins to wave, that person begins to get upset at the other, already knowing what they were capable of. And then they start the unconscious process of non-trust and non-responsibility through one's desperate choice or choices to be around the person waving the red flag. Let me read that again. Some people want relationships so bad that they ignore another's red flags. And so when said red flag unfurls and begins to wave, they get upset at the other, already knowing what they were capable of. And then they start their unconscious process of non-trust and non-responsibility through their desperate choices to be around the person waving the red flag. I know this to be true because I've done it. For years, we've all done it. And we will continue to do it provided we just done with it. And hello, Kim H. Roberts on YouTube. Hello, blessings. Welcome to Center of Light. It's good to see you. I need some water. Hello, Laura Fleckner. So, we're going to bring this into perspective. We're going to look at things very closely, very mundanely. But when I say mundanely, I'm not speaking about myopia. I'm speaking about looking at things honestly, which brings us into a closer view, but it's definitely from a broader perspective. How's this for irony or a paradox? The more you are able to pull back, step back, the closer you can see the matter at hand. Versus being all gung-ho and lost and trying to figure out every little nuance of something, that is completely not necessary, and it'll take you eons to ever get to where you're trying to get as soon as possible. Hello, Wendy. She says red flags are like stoplights. So tonight is a presentation about something I should have done for a while, but it wasn't time. And a beautiful lady, friend that I just met on social media, said, hey, I can use one about trust. I said, fantastic. Here's something else for you. Tonight is Center of Light agreement. Trust. It's an agreement. We have an agreement. We're friends, right? We agree to never hurt each other. So there should never be any issue of mistrust. So we have an agreement. An agreed agreement. I agree to our friendship that you would never do this. I get it. So it is an agreement, because when they violate such friendship relationship, it's like, that's why it hurts so much. Everyone knows I am huge on definitions. You cannot run away from a definition. You cannot run away from Webster's. He's going to find you. So tonight we have been speaking about trust, betrayal, loyalty. No one owes you a thing, not even loyalty. If you want absolute peace, gut feelings, we're going to be speaking about awareness and expectation. Everyone that knows me knows that I'm huge on definitions. Big Daddy Webster's got you under his umbrella always. You cannot escape the English language resource. Definition, expectation. A strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. Reality had not lived up to expectations. Synonyms: supposition, assumption, belief, presupposition, presumption, conjecture, surmise, calculation, prediction. I predict that because of my friendship with you, at least my awareness of what I think is you, maybe I'm not seeing those red flags. So you and I, dog, we cool. That creates a prediction. Prediction, which is you and I's relationship is never going to change. Forecast, like in weather, whether or not, or as in the weather. Projection. I'm projecting my experience onto you. That being said, when you meet people for the first time, are you aware of the reality, of the fact that you automatically assign them a role? You just met John Doe. Hey, John, how are you, sir? I'm wonderful. What do you do for a living, sir? Well, I'm a mechanic. You already assigned that person a role. If I need a good mechanic, I'm going to call John. So John is my mechanic. Likewise with every other situation in our life. Everyone we meet, we assign them a role. Friendship. And when they violate according to our standards and how we labeled them to be, we feel betrayed. I don't trust you anymore. Assurance, confidence, trust, anticipation, expectancy, eagerness, hope, hopefulness, excitement, suspense. A belief that someone will or should achieve something. It's amazing the English language can break things down in such a powerful way. All those synonyms that I tossed out about trust and expectation, these are different little fragments of the umbrella issue. Trust, mistrust, loyalty, betrayal. These are all little living, if you will, conscious or unconscious, aspect of one's mentality, disposition, be it in the heart or be it in the mind, an unclear one. From Homecoming, Crossing the Bridge to the Soul, my new bestseller. This week is my anniversary week that I went bestseller a year ago. So here we go. Spirit says, many people do not know what peace looks like because they make no effort at all to familiarize themselves with it. It cannot be said enough. It takes love, trust. It's tonight's presentation. It takes love, trust, and clarity to live the peace that lies within you. Spirit continues, Keith, do you find that your life has peace, joy, trust, love, compassion, acceptance, understanding, patience, and sharing? You see, when you begin to live your life with this relaxed, letting go kind of feeling and a willingness to lose everything to gain yourself, you will have joy and complete trust where there was none before. And that space you were looking to expand will do just that. Stop thinking that you yourself are incapable of creating something beautiful. When you doubt, you either move forward in time or back, away from the power of the here and now. Remember what I said a minute ago. Whenever you are not, or anyone that is not standing in their power, there will always be mistrust. When you doubt, you either move forward in time or back, away from the power of the here and now. Doubt always creates gravity, drag, and dread, and as soon as you entertain it, it stifles anything creative you are trying to will forth. Hello, beautiful Elaine. Only when you trust that everything will fall into place will you find real power. Let me read that again. This one back half of a sentence after the comma is what this presentation is about tonight. Trust. Center of light agreement. We make an agreement with life, people and things and situations. So it's about your trust with God, the process of the universe, the process of life, the process with lovers, the process with family, the process with friends, the process with yourself. This back half of this sentence is all of that. Actually, so it's complete sentence. Only when you trust that everything will fall into place will you find real power. That very power to never make choices that will put you in a victim position of ever experiencing betrayal. Because when you're in a place of power, even if there was betrayal, you would not give a flying shit because it doesn't matter. You're in your power. So therefore, if you're in your power and it doesn't matter that you were per se betrayed, forgiveness simply steps up immediately. There's nothing stopping the forgiveness from welling up inside of you. Thank you, Lord. She says, great puzzle work. And I say to Spirit, it's not that I don't trust. And many of you will relate to this. Let's say we've been talking about mistrust and I don't trust. I don't trust. So-and-so did this. I get it. But many of you will get this. And this is my response. It's not that I don't trust. It's more that I don't know how to let go of doubt. And I'm thinking that many of you will go, that is me. So Spirit responds, I know what you're trying to say, Keith. So let me suggest this. Give yourself the gift of accepting, if only for a few minutes at a time at first, that you are in a state of knowing at all times, a state in which you can easily recognize whether or there is doubt or whether there is trust, whether there is fear or love that is in charge of your life. Then begin to peg the power that doubt holds over you and use this to your advantage. If you notice doubt, just redirect your knowing to cancel it. Realize that nothing can possibly manifest through it. Let the knowing part of you that so wants to blossom transform doubt into trust. Then watch what happens. The knower within you, with the know-how to get what you want, will silently emerge. Okay? What this is saying is, it's time to become aware in the here and now. That's where the power is in the present moment. Catch yourself. Well, I want to start dating again. I really do. In fact, you wanting it so much as to why you've been thinking about it. But that reservation, that reserved self, instead of, I'm still not ready yet. If you keep waiting to date, or keep waiting to get a job, or keep waiting to trust your brother or your sister and your sibling, whatever it is, it'll never happen. You're just always going to be in wait. So it doesn't mean you need to take steps outside of your comfort zone, but to some degree, you need to step out of your comfort zone, which is, even this small step could look something like this. I want to date. Just be aware that you are the awareness that saw this fear and this reservation in you. That's it. Because you're going to say, oh my God, what is this non-trusting part of myself? Versus, I'm just not ready yet. I don't trust people. I'm detached from this thing that I've been calling me for a very long time. That's not what I am at all. I am this being that is witnessing, observing this thing that moves through my consciousness, which is I don't trust. That's how you change the dynamic. In the light of awareness, the darkness simply flees. In the light of anything, the darkness always flees. Your mistrust is erroneous. I had it show up in my consciousness last night. I went to the store, and someone saw me who lived in my apartment complex. And my mind went into the same old dogma, the same old conditioning. Keith, you don't know this person. And I said, you know what? He asked me for a ride back to the apartment because he recognized me some distance away from where we live. And I said, you know what, bro? I'll check you later. And I said, fuck this. Bullshit. I waited for him. He got in my car. I said, what's up, bro? My name's Keith. He goes, I know who you are. You live in the same apartment complex, blah, 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 blah. So I get it. But this kind of mistrust, I'm not saying don't be responsible or stupid. I'm saying be aware. If you don't have said awareness to be able to read people, situations, or your life, don't step into a snake's nest. You will get bit. But practice expanding your awareness in such opportunities, which is, I'm not sure I trust the situation. I understand you. Fantastic. So what we do is, something inside, that gut feeling, my eyes, because I'm present, because I took breaths to center myself, I'm feeling the vibe of this person. I'm watching their body movement. I'm watching their eyes. They don't seem shady to me. Maybe this is a perfect opportunity for me to move back into the arena of trust, because trust me when I tell you, it's going to take all of us to move into a situation that we may mistrust to ever regain trust ever again. There is no other way to win. Do you see? It's about getting out of the box, the comfort zone. Trust. How do you trust? It's called awareness. Red flags are going off all the time. Green flags are going off all the time. Choosing a situation with another person because you want to see the good in them can cost you later. Choosing to be with someone because you want to see the good in them can also never cost you anything. The only thing it will cost you is your expectation is going to fail. No one, even in an agreement, owes you anything. When they agreed with me, Keith, you don't understand. They told me we got married. No one owes you anything. The only thing that will never change is change itself. It's the only thing that'll never change, paradoxically. We think it's the forever one, and the universe says, this is your endeavor one, the one that's going to teach you how to climb your own mountain, Mr. or Mrs. McKinley. Tonight is Center of Light, agreement. Making agreements with reality. Trust. You can always change your agreement with reality. So-and-so did this to me. I understand, and the way that you're explaining it, I get it. The way that I would explain it to someone else if I had an incident in my life. But how attached, to what depth are we calling that the truth? Are we using it to simply just disguise an event or a situation that went down? But deep down, we know that's not how what the truth is. That's one thing. But when it grabs its meat hooks in you, no wonder you wouldn't trust, because you don't trust yourself to have the level of awareness nor the faculties of absolute awareness to see someone waving a red flag at you to say, don't hang out with me, I'm nothing but trouble. But some people want relationships so bad on the double, they will put themselves in a situation they knew was coming all along. And when it comes up, they're upset at the other person. I'm not saying you have to like what they did, but you saw it coming. Take a short pause. We got some videos tonight. Tonight is Center of Light, agreement. You are in a relationship with God, the universe, the process of life, people, events, situations, circumstance. Ultimately, what is the common denominator of all that? You are in a relationship with yourself. You are the one that's in relationship with all these different aspects I just named. It stings, doesn't it? Good. Lovingly, I hope it stings the out of you. That you get this taste of this poison. You know, certain things in the animal kingdom are poisonous, but they also can be manipulated to create the most amazing healing medicine. So I hope this poisonous sting for you, you alchemists, that you're able to transmute, transform into this beautiful nectar that will heal you. Because if you don't heal yourself now, a time will come when it's no longer able to be ignored or denied. It'll be in the world of the obvious. And you won't get stung. People can be sons of bitches, I tell you, including myself. We all have these qualities. And it's not a slang or a negative, it's a fact. It's a word to describe one aspect of the human being. But there's such more beauty to the human being that so overlights anything that is a shadow. Expectation and mistrust, or having sex. Trust me, that's what they are. And they created an offspring or a hybrid child. It looks like us where we are in said situation. Let's move into the video segment. Trust number one. Tonight we're speaking about Center of Light agreement, our agreement with reality in every possible way. Trust, a subject that is perfect timing for me. Trust or mistrust, depending on how you see it. God, people, friends, events, circumstance, ultimately ourselves. We're going to go through all those four levels with these videos. First is in a very earthly, way of trust with people. Check it out.
I'm so sorry, sir.
Stop. Have a seat.
I'm so sorry, sir. I'm always on time. You see, there was this girl and her car broke down. That's why I'm late.
You know, I was excited about you. I actually wanted to hire you. But there's something with you young people and excuses. And you're not reliable.
No, sir, I promise. I'm telling the truth.
Sorry, I don't believe your story. And I can't trust someone who does not respect my time. So now, please leave.
Sir, please.
Hi, I'm sorry to bother you, but my car isn't starting. Can you help me?
I'm really late for a job interview, but I can call you a tow truck or anything.
I'm not really comfortable being alone up here. You look like someone I can trust. Please?
Okay. Yeah, let me pull over.
Thank you.
Okay. Start her up.
Okay. Oh my god. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. I really gotta go.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Sir, please.
Daddy.
I'm sorry, sweetie. Just give us a minute.
I know, but I was so scared. My car stopped working and then this guy... Oh my god. That's the guy. He said he was running late for an interview and he still decided to help me.
I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. I misjudged you. I'm willing to offer you this job.
Actually, thank you. But I don't think this job is for me. You see, to work together requires trust. If you don't trust me already, then I know everything I need to know about the company.
Sorry, I don't believe your story.
He said he was running late for an interview and he still decided to help me.
When someone breaks our trust, it's a devastating experience. Being lied to is one of the worst feelings next to heartbreak. But what ends up happening is we start building up these walls. And if we're not careful, those walls can not only keep the bad people out, but the good ones too. We can very quickly start to develop habits that we think are protecting us, but in reality, they might be damaging us. They prevent us from having deeper relationship and can make us miss out on a lot of new ones as well. We should never let the pain of our past rob us from the joy of our future. And we shouldn't let a few bad experiences change us. When someone breaks our trust, it says everything about them and nothing about us. It's unfortunate that there's bad people out there, but that doesn't mean that everyone's bad. We should always give everyone the benefit of the doubt, because in the end, we'll either have a great new relationship or a great new lesson, but we'll never know unless we give it a chance.
Welcome back to Center of Light. Hello, Dolores. Sorry I misspelled your name wrong. So tonight we are talking about Center of Light agreement. Our agreements with reality. Our expectations with reality. And when they don't go the way we like, it creates mistrust. We feel betrayed. Remember, as the gentleman said, the walls you put up to keep people out because of your mistrust or mistrust simply are the same walls that we erect that keep us imprisoned. There's no joy in life. living behind a facade, a wall, a barrier, a block that does not allow the light not only in but out. I understand when people betray you, but like the gentleman said, it says everything about them and nothing about you unless you claim it to be yours. You might use the word "they betrayed me" to describe it to yourself and to other people. But if you go, "Oh my God, they betrayed me," it goes automatically into self-induced betraying suffering. Self-induced betray suffering. Pain is a fact. Suffering is optional. Remember that. Now we're going to get into video number 2, Sadhguru. We're going to take things on a little more esoteric level about trust, also taking responsibility. Being able to see the red flags. So as it's said, when someone betrays you, it's all about them and nothing about you. That's when you make the decision to end your karma, to say, I'm just simply not going to be a part of this nonsense. And you make a conscious decision. Otherwise, you get caught in a loop in the cycle. And therefore, everyone who shows up in your life, depending on what the situation is, being in a loving relationship or friendship, they're always just going to mirror to you and validate to you that you were right in your belief or the non-belief in yourself. Sadhguru, video number 2, Center of Light Agreement. You can always change your agreement with reality. Trust.
There's sometimes we have these certain instincts in us that direct us to do certain things, popularly known as gut feelings. So do you think the youth must act on these gut feelings, or should we reject it? What is your take on gut feelings and instincts?
There is something called as gut feeling and there is also something called as being shit scared, you know. So when people don't know which way to go, some things move in their gut. Don't understand always that as some kind of an intuition or some kind of an insight into life. Most people feel their guts only when you say he has guts, means what? His guts didn't move. So, fear is considered gut feeling by a whole lot of people, don't go by that. But there is a certain… in the yogic culture, today modern science is also recognizing this, in the yogic culture, we identify a certain dimension of intelligence in the stomach. A certain dimension of intelligence means, if we have to… this is what I'm going to say is very simplistic. If you find loopholes, you ask question, otherwise I will pass, okay? If you ask questions, I will cover those loopholes, but because I'm saying it in such a brief manner, there will be loopholes. See, you eat a piece of bread, within a few hours, it gets transformed into a human being, isn't it so? Is it a tremendous amount of intelligence? Hello? If I can take a piece of bread in my hand and make this into a human being, who do you think I am? Hello? Creator himself, isn't it? Must be God. If I can take a piece of bread and make it into a human being, this is it. This you're doing in your stomach. Obviously, there is a certain dimension of intelligence. It is not in the form of thought, but it's a different it's not intellect, but it's an intelligence. Is there a way to access that intelligence? Yes. Even if a drop of that intelligence enters your life, you will do things magically, not miserably. If you do things only with your logic, everything becomes quite miserable because you will have to go through logical steps for everything. You will not know anything just by looking at it. So, it is important to develop that dimension of intelligence, but as I said, whenever there is confusion and fear, people will feel a pit in the stomach. That should not be understood as the gut, intelligence of the gut.
Don't create the expectations, there'll be no dejections. It's like, I throw a stone up,
Sadhguru, I throw a stone up, why is it landing on my head? Well, that's how it works on this planet. If you don't want it to work like this, you must leave this atmosphere and throw the stone up, it just continues to travel straight up. This is how it works here. If you throw it up, it lands on your head. No? You are like somebody who plays solitaire, you know? Yes, this is like playing solitaire. This is just because you're like a person who wants to drive on the Mumbai street without knowing anything about the vehicle that he drives. You don't know how to drive, but you got into a car or motorcycle and tried to do… Motorcycle won't cooperate at all. First moment you'll fall, car is little easy, anybody can make it roll, you know, because it's on four wheels. So if you drive, then you say, Sadhguru, I'm driving, but there is so much fear, what to do? And people are dying on the street, what to do? Well, that's what will happen. So if you want to drive it, you spend some certain amount of time learning to drive before you hit the road, isn't it? This is also just like this. Before you start your life, you must spend some time learning something about this machine, isn't it? This body, this mind, how to use it, in what way it operates best. Shouldn't we spend some time? No, you just jump into life and then I create expectations and I get dejected. Obviously unrealistic, isn't it? So, oh, if I don't create expectations, maybe I won't do nothing. That's not true. Anyway, you're doing something, isn't it? Even the bees and the birds and the ants and the elephants are doing something, isn't it? Whatever they can do, aren't they doing? So that's all you can do also. Whatever you can do, you can do. What you cannot do, you cannot do. So we taught you Isha Yoga to remove all the other nonsense. You understand? If you can look upon everything around you the same way, everything that you can do, you'll do. What you cannot do, you'll not do. What's the problem? That's how the whole existence is functioning, isn't it so? If you ask this planet to spin backwards, can it do it? So even Mother Earth cannot do, so what's the big deal? You are just a piece. Isn't it so? The earth is spinning like this, if you say spin like this tomorrow morning, can it spin? No. So, what's the big deal? You can only do what you can do. So once you see this, your whole life will be focused on how to enhance your ability to do, not waste your time on silly expectations. Life will happen the way it happens, not because you desire. It happens because you're enabled in a certain way. Instead of enabling yourself, you're wasting your time in silly expectations of yourself. So, instead of spending your time building fancy expectations, spend your time to enable this one. What you're capable, that's all you will do, isn't it? Can you do something more? Can anybody do something more than what they're capable of? No. It is just that your capability can be stretched. Without stretching your ability to do, you're building expectations. It is just fundamentally wrong, isn't it? No? It's fundamentally wrong, isn't it so? Now I want to run 100 meters in 7 seconds. You shouldn't think of this. You should just work on your legs and your lungs and just run. Maybe, who knows, you'll run it in 6 seconds, who knows? Why are you worried about the time? You build your legs into as powerful a condition as you can build it and just run.
just for the simple joy of it, we don't know what will be the time. 21 minutes? So, don't waste your life in setting up expectations, because these expectations are not even yours. You're looking at your neighbor and setting expectations for yourself. It's a very, very silly way of building your life, because your expectations are not even yours, isn't it? I'm telling you, human mind is such. Let's say in Mumbai everybody had only one leg. You had actually two, but everybody has only one. They're all hopping around. You will also do that, though you have to. Because you're setting up your expectations, looking at people around you. So, there's no need for any expectations. Just enable yourself. Whatever the situation allows, we'll do. Just, this is all you have to do. Build your body and your mind in such a way that you can use it to the fullest capability. So whatever kind of situations arise in front of you, accordingly you act, not the fancy way you like. You know, right now, we have started a whole different form of education in Asia called Samskriti. They have no formal education. They're just learning yoga, classical music, classical dance, Sanskrit language, English language, and martial arts, nothing else. These kids know nothing, but you come and see them absolutely like this, because we're just teaching them to use their body and their mind to the fullest capability. You will see by the time they're 18, they will be phenomenal creatures. Because your success in this world is just this. The physical world, the success is just this. How effectively can you use your physical body and your mind? That's all your success is. Is that so? That's all it is, isn't it? A little bit of knowledge you need, the damn knowledge is all on the net, you don't have to keep it in your head. It's all in the net. Unless you want to do some specific kind of activity for you want to build some knowledge, you can do that. But that also, I would say the whole education system, which is little over 20 years right now, can be compressed to 5 to 6 years if people are of a certain mental capability. And every human being, almost every human being except those who are impaired in some way, almost every human being is capable of this. If only you take off the silly expectations which are a crippling factor, because your expectation is if somebody is doing this, you want to do one step more, even if that's a crippled standard. So you don't go about building expectations. You just work upon building your body and your mind to enable yourself that you can use it to the fullest extent. We don't know how you will use it. What you do in this world should be relevant to the situation in which you exist, isn't it? Action is always about the situation, not about you. If this one thing, if you get it, then there'll be no expectation. Simply you do what's needed. In a given situation, you simply do what's needed, that's all. If you're placed in Mumbai, you learn the stock market. If you're placed in Kanyakumari, you learn fishing. This also you do well, that's also you do well, that's all, wherever you are, that's all there is, isn't it?
Welcome back to Center of Light. Tonight is Center of Light agreement. Agreements we make with reality. You can always change your agreement with reality. Hello, Allie. I saw a post of yours today, and somehow intuitively I knew you were going to show up, and I'm glad you did. Dear, it's good to see you here with everyone and myself. I got one more video. It's going to be about 10 minutes. I like being thorough. It seems long. If I entertain you, fantastic. You will get it on some level. If you hear, like I am, here, present. I am present. I'm learning, taking it all in from all these beautiful teachers. You are my teacher. Thank you for being here. And your comments here and here teach me a lot. I have one more video for you. And when I come back, I think I'm going to go into vessel mode. Some people call it channeling higher spirits and all that. That's woo-woo. I call it vessel just to get away from the word channel. So I'm going to go inside and allow myself to fall in and see what beyond Keith, it's me, but it's beyond the Keith I know as the open-eyed being that lives in this body. I release, I trust that as this energy moves through my heart, that it's going to be beneficial. It's a simple process for me. I've been doing it long enough. In fact, all of us, we do it effortlessly. For example, let's pick Allie. Let's pick on Allie. She's an amazing singer. Oh my God. Musician, songwriter. She will write you a song at her early 20-year-old age that'll blow your freaking mind. There's no effort in there for her. She trusts when she sits with a ukulele or a guitar or her friend, Elizabeth, if I remember that right. The songs just happen. I'm picking on you, Allie, in a beautiful, good way. So, like Allie, like me, like we, the things that we do that we trust, just use the same spiritual inner technology for those situations in your life that you wish were different. But sometimes wishing is not enough. In fact, wishing is never enough. I get it. Wishing is about hope. I found a spiritual penny in the ground and I'm going to throw it in the spiritual wishing well. Well, if you lean on that too heavily, your intention is not strong enough to bring about the manifestation of said thrown penny. Here's the skinny. You have to become aware. What is awareness? The fact that you're hearing my voice and looking at this handsome man is the fact that you are aware. And you can never die. You will be aware for eternity, even with or without your body. This level of awareness is the game. It's the game of the universe. It's the only game in town. This doctor is going to teach us about trust and the fear of it. Why we don't trust. One more segment. I'm going to come back. I'm going to fall into vessel mode, see what Spirit has to say. It is me. It is, in fact, it's we. I just learned how to tap into the we of it all. I'll see you shortly. 10 minutes. Use the time to get you some popcorn. Turn the volume up so you can hear it when you're using the bathroom. This doctor knows what she's talking about. I'll see you shortly. Peace, love, and it's you. Trust in your ability to be a sovereign being instead of a sobbing being. Bro. Yo.
Hi everyone, this is Eva from Dr. Eva Therapy. It's Friday and today's Face the Fear Friday's topic is the fear of trusting your intuition. Many of us with anxiety have trouble differentiating the two, which is anxiety and anxious thoughts, and which is the intuition or the gut feeling, or just somehow knowing that something's up, having a sense of something without necessarily having contextual or visible cues and clues to let you know that you're onto something. I think that a lot of us with anxiety actually have, for whatever reasons throughout our life, shut down and quieted our inner voice, our intuition, for the sake of playing nice, getting along, maybe not wanting to see things that are staring at us in the face as we're growing up. And there's a part of us that knows that something's up. There's a part of us that knows that something's wrong, but perhaps as children, we're told to not pay attention to those things, to be distracted about something else, or move away from that. Or perhaps we're told to not really see what we're seeing, and what's happening is not really happening. And this creates a huge confusion within us that then we start to distrust our judgment. Because as kids, well, we have to trust what the adults are telling us. They're the ones who know, they're the ones who are right, they're the ones who are paving the way for us. But even though that seems to make sense logically in our minds as kids, emotionally, we still feel like something's different, but we can't put our finger on it. And maybe we start to think that it's our fault, that there's something that's wrong with us, there's something that's wrong with how we're showing up when we're little at school, as we're growing up with our friends, with our family, in social circles, and presentations at work, with relationships, etc., etc. So we lose touch with our inner voice. This creates a huge slew of problems, right? Because if we're trying to make the most out of something, and as perfectionists, we love the research, we love to find all of the answers outside of us, because that makes us feel like, okay, we got this. We talked with the professionals, we read the books, we looked up the articles, we spoke with everyone, we did all of the trials and YouTube videos, etc. So that those people outside, those books, those professionals know way more than what I know deep in my heart and deep in my gut and in my head to know what's up. So we get lost in it. And I think also we want many things. We want the job, we want the relationship, we want the family life. And we sometimes shut down that part of us that's telling us something's up here, or go and do that instead, or pay attention to that detail, because we really, really, really want to fulfill these fantasies that we have for our life, in our relationships, in our careers, etc., that we put the intuition to the side, thinking that we can make sure that whatever we have, we can work with and make it perfect and make it great, and everything's going to work out. Unfortunately, because we can only control what happens within us and in our life, that doesn't tend to work out. Sometimes it does, because some things do align, etc., but sometimes it doesn't. And then what happens? We feel stupid. Oh my God, I knew it was coming. I had a sense of it. Why didn't I do anything about it? I should have known. I should have acted sooner, etc., etc., etc. So we got both ends of it, right? The super powerful, super being person who thinks that even though there's some issues there, we're going to neglect it, even though our intuition is telling us, hey, look out, something's up. And then when everything kind of falls apart, oh my God, I'm so stupid. I should have seen it coming. Why did I think this way? I'm so naive. What's wrong with me? I'm never going to make the mistake ever again, because I'm going to do all the research and I'm going to go through all the help that I need, so everything's going to be fine. And it's great because it's a process. You learn from it. But we still don't differentiate intuition versus anxiety. So I think intuition is kind of like this kind of quiet voice, kind of like a little tap, like, hey, listen, sense what's up here. It seems a little off, or it seems really, really right. And, just feel this out and see what you want to do with it. Whereas anxiety, it's loud, it's fast, it's future tripping, it's all about all these negatives that's gonna go wrong, and oh my God, how are we gonna handle it, and what's not gonna happen, and what if this happens, and what if that happens, and all of this like heavy-paced thought processes that lead you feeling exhausted with heart palpitations, headaches, sweatiness, and not really knowing where to go from there. So that's a big difference between the two, where one is calmer, more intuitive, more coming from within you, and the other one is future-paced, anxious, all over the place sometimes, and taking you through a rabbit hole of more and more and more anxiety. So now more than ever, do we have these questions of, well, is it my intuition? Is it my gut? Or is it my anxiety? Because there's so many things that are up in the air. There's so many decisions on the day-to-day that we need to make on top of our regular day-to-day life that it can become even more cumbersome to figure it out. But if you take time to just notice, if you take time to pay attention, and even though everything is so fast-paced, if you take time to slow down the time, then you might be able to tap in little by little to what it is that you really truly want and what it is that you're seeing. A lot of times what we want, this fantasy, this whatever, is amazing. But the person or people in front of you or the situation that you have in front may not really match with what it is that you want, with that fantasy. And so it comes to terms, you have to come to terms with, okay, what am I doing? Am I going to try to change? Am I going to try to change the person? Am I going to try to change the situation? Or am I going to drop it and move on? Because it doesn't match what I want, it doesn't match the fantasy, it doesn't match my goals for myself, for my family, etc., etc. This is obviously different for very different situations. But I think that if we're specifically going to speak about, for example, parenting, a lot of times moms drop, and not knowingly anyway, but they don't pay attention to their inner voice. They don't pay attention to what it is that they want from their kids and how they want to be the authority. And so what happens is they're coming to us, which is awesome, but they're coming to us, the therapists, the professionals, they're reading the books, they're reading the blogs, they're on Instagram, and it's fine, we all do this. But they put aside what it is that they think is right or how they think that they should be raising their children because someone else knows better. And in my opinion, it's not one or the other, it's a combination. Obviously, when you're talking to someone objectively or when you're reading books that are, based on a lot of different theories and a lot of different techniques, etc., it's going to open your mind to the possibilities of doing things differently that are more in flow with your life. But it's a combination of finding what matches you, because it's not a one-size-fits-all. It is about finding the techniques that work with you in your period of life and your family. It's about you finding your inner voice as a mom, as the authority figure, as a parent, versus only looking outside of you for the support and the knowledge that you think you need to raise your kids. And in relationships or career choices, sometimes it's a similar thing. It's trying to figure out what is it that I need from this relationship or this career move that I think these people or these positions outside of me are going to fulfill in me. And do I necessarily need to latch onto them, or can I find it within myself so that I make wiser choices in the guidance of what it is I want from my life now and moving forward into the future? And some of that is obviously through the research, through experience, and some of that also is with tapping in with yourself. So, I've spoken about a lot of different things. I hope it made sense. And I just want to give you guys this little bit for this weekend, thinking through about how to differentiate those two. Intuition versus anxiety versus future tripping versus catastrophizing, and the other part, the intuitive part, which is tapping into yourself, tapping into what you want, what makes sense, and testing that out and seeing where that takes you. So I hope you have a great weekend, and you can follow me here on Facebook, on Instagram.
Welcome back to Center of Light. Tonight we've been talking about Center of Light agreement. The agreement we have made and or making with or can make with reality. The agreement we make with reality. We can change it. Are you future tripping, as Dr. Ava said? Are you catastrophizing? Are you living behind the wall that we have erected to keep us protected from those bad people? Because that same wall is going to keep you in prison and you can't get out. Trust. I'm going to go inside. Blessings, everyone. I wrote this during the break when I went to the bathroom. I'll get my downloads when I go to the bathroom. Inner voice that you will need trust in God for this time that we're living in. The universe and yourself to have the awareness to thrive in this new world. The reality is trust will have your back to navigate and traverse the wilderness that, make no mistake, you will all be submersed in as a world who has to make a choice. What is trust? It's you at your essence. You just living in joy. When you reach out and expect others or other events to bring that joy to you, obviously trust is the first thing that, mistrust is the first thing that can happen as a wedge between you and the edge of your disbelief. Good grief. You will need trust as a warrior of light, simply as a participant of the earth. And in all mirth, when you realize that the joke has been on you for a very long time, you will then graduate up to another level via trust. When you level out, it creates suffering. When you level in, you level up, you level forward and toward something even greater than you have known. It will take trust to thrive, not survive, in this new world. This new world, what is it? Who knows? You're creating it in this moment. You may be asking, can you give me an inkling? No, we can't. We shan't. For how do we know if you don't know yourself as the ones who are creating it? We see your future potential in all aspects, in all directions of where you can possibly lean. Glean this information, dear one. Trust is your barometer. You may not know how to do that exactly in this moment, but the sheer wanting of it in this moment is what will grant you the grace and the vision capacity to be able to see that all is in order as you trust the universal process, your process of life. So anytime there's mistrust, it takes an awareness to catch yourself, not to blame yourself. Catch yourself, I'm in mistrust mode, but I'm looking for the mother lode, which curves back within, and you find yourself within that wants to implode and explode into a beautiful possibility. It requires you to trust. We understand on this side of the veil what mistrust is only by our observance of you and what it's doing to you. It throws you further into fear, my dear. Our aim and hope for you and support is that you become clear. Trust the process. Trust the process. Get out of fighting the process. Invite the process. Ignite, excite the process within you, and trust, again, will have your back, your front, and all around you. It abounds you. It surrounds you. Where are you in the grand scheme of it all? Albert Einstein said, do you see the universe as hostile or loving? Where do you find yourself within when push comes to shoving? So how, from your perspective, you may ask, do I fall out of this reservation, this mistrust of mine? You've already done it by asking such a delicious question. That's your answer. Of getting out of the mental mistrusting cancer that plagues many of you. Here's your tincture, your salve, your nectar, your amaranth. Are you with that kind of idea? You can blame people all you want. It will never change the status quo. People will be people. And if you're one to go beyond your own peopling, your own sheepling, into the land of forever, you must take upon yourself this endeavor of beauty, grace, and power. Whenever you are not in your power, you will find yourself with mistrust. Empowerment doesn't need anything nor validation from anyone. In such a way, you get out of losing into one. I've won, and there's only one. And it's the everlasting trust. We understand concern, but we can't see worry. We see what it does to you. Lickety split in a hurry. It throws you from consciousness where we see you as this beautiful light, and one in such a plight of dismay, discord, and fear. We can't follow you there, my dear, but we understand by the light that gets dulled in you, simply somehow you seem to disappear from spirit, hoping that you hear it, what we are offering to you. Trust has your back. In fact, in reality, trust is the very infrastructure and the basis that gives you your very existence. Trust, confidence. If the universe had no trust and no confidence, simply you would pop in and out of reality with the universal mindset of trust and mistrust. And you would just blip in and out. So the foundation, the bedrock of all existence, not only yours, is trust. Spirit is confident. Spirit is present, standing in power. This second, this minute, this hour, it's always your choice to follow your inner voice and trust. Use your vision capacity to see, to hear, to free, and be in that space. People who have, as you say, betrayed you, simply love them and immediately dismiss them from your life. Any other reflection on said past will only bring you strife. It will always be a knife in your back. Don't look back. Be present. Imagine your future. And your future will be one filled with joy, love, light, trust. In fact, gleaning over the word trust in and of itself implies a very valuable tool, a very valuable lesson. Because as soon as you get to leaning into the idea of trust, always lurking back there somewhere in the mind, this is the opposite reflection of mistrust. So trusting is almost not good enough for what you deserve. Because it will always make you swerve into the possibility, well, I am a trusting one. What's the opposite? You see my point. The idea is that you live beyond the idea of even trusting itself. Because nothing in this moment, nor forever, can forever, ever affect you. That is when you will know you have been affected, and resurrected through the power of love. When push comes to shove, when you understand this, when you integrate this, and you implement this in your life, you have won the game. All the same, trust only brings shame, illusionment, disillusionment, contusion, meant. Trust is like a spigot. You open up the tap, and out comes tar. When you trust that the water will run clear eventually, then, my loved one, you will go far and that water will run crystal clear for you. It cannot be any more crystal clear for you. You have to trust. There will be dirt in the spigot. Run it clear, and you too will hear the angelic choir, the inner voice that leaves you and everyone on this earth having to make another choice. Trust the process of God, the universe, in your life. And so it is, and so it shall be done. Do you understand? Stop fretting. Stop sweating. Let things go. If you can't control it, you can't control it. There's nothing you can do. And if you can control it, then you can control it. So worry, mistrust, betrayal becomes an exercise in nonsense. It's not necessary. What is it you don't trust about yourself? You're welcome, Dolores. What is it you don't trust about your life? Look into it before it looks into you. Are you listening? Look into it and correct it before it looks into you and corrects you. That is your willingness to see the red flags. If you want relationship or job or anything by ignoring red flags, it can cost you a bundle. Watch yourself more than accepting people or situations that bring red flags. Then you will move through those events that validate you to say, you are right. I had a reason to mistrust. That's the dust and the rust that we all need to kick off of our beautiful soul. No, I love you beyond measure. It is my pleasure to be in this treasure trove we call the cosmic sandbox, Earth. One little grain of sand in infinity. Have fun. Trust your ability to be aware. Don't compare yourself to any other one. Just trust. Be willing to be aware, to understand and recognize that which does not serve you. But yeah, I want to be with this person because I'm so lonely. Loneliness happens not because you're by yourself. Loneliness happens when you divorce yourself from yourself. Remember that, and you will find yourself.